Yeah, that's my jam, the Simpsons theme in ear-piercing 8 bits. The Scompson's Night of the Living Treehouse of Horror on Game Boy Color. As a kid, it was a game I bought solely for it being based on my favorite cartoon, the Slim Jims. And it's a collection of 7 mini-games based around classic Treehouse of Horror episodes, but it might as well be based on newer, later season episodes because it's not very good. And that's what I'm reviewing. I was gonna cover Hit and Run, but I want more time on that video. So, let's play this. First, I must substitute one totem before I open an inbox game. Now, let us begin. So what do you do here? According to the intro text for level 1, you must help Bart rescue his dog, Santa's little helper, before he becomes Satan's little helper. Whoa. You can mention Satan on a Nintendo game that's rated E for everyone? Donkey Kong 64 mentioning hell is one thing, but to mention who runs that place? Damn. I guess there's now officially 2 American release games that are rated E on a Nintendo console and mention Satan, Treehouse of Horror and Ghosts and Goblins. Yes, I know there were no ESRB age ratings during Goblin's original release, though there were re-releases with an E rating, yet Satan's name was either removed or renamed as Hades, but the Wii U Virtual Console NES copy has an E rating, so it counts. I researched this. But anywho, on to our review. The first stage has you exploring this haunted house. Your goal is to collect and put these battery packs into a circuit breaker to light up every room. Should you enter a dark room, you won't make it far as it'll be guarded by what I honestly believe in my heart to be the scariest creature in animation. The broom from Fantasia.
He's got a broom! Get out of here! What in the heck is that? El Diablo, no!
That thing cannot be killed. The game really looks nice, has some expressive animations, and backgrounds for each stage are varied. By the way, you're not watching this in slow-mo. You may not be able to tell from the footage, but the controls feel like you're being weighed down every time you jump. You'll have to platform through moon physics and find keys to unlock doors. Sometimes those doors contain a room holding a single key that's used to unlock a different key. Why? Once you reach the attic where Bart's dog is being held in, there's no turning back as you must once and for all face the broom.
You promised me no more brooms.
The next level has Maggie stepping into a teleporter along with a fly, causing her to switch bodies with said fly. It's such a terrifying concept, like imagine someone switching bodies with you, ruining your reputation like a mindless fly or Lindsay Lohan or Chris Brown. Oh. Like most of the missions, this is based on an episode, except it was Bart who ended up like this on the show. I guess that makes this level an all-female revisionist reboot to a parody of a classic movie that's a remake of another classic movie based on a short story. This is the easiest level, as all you gotta do is head right, avoiding enemies and collecting these circuit chips. Maybe they should have opened with this instead of a non-linear first level. Let me just add, one of my favorite settings to explore in the game are worlds through the perspective of tiny creatures. Mundane objects used as massive obstacles is fun to see. Now, I'm no interior decorator unless you count going in raw, but why did the family install these Krusty the Clown tiles? And since Maggie's now a fly, I have to ask, what's the buzz on Maggie?
Don't try to understand. I'm strange and I like it just the way I am.
Yep, that was a show. I suppose we're overdue for zombies. Help Marge by destroying as many zombies as possible before they turn her family into the Walking Dead. So the goal is to keep them from turning into a zombie husk of their former selves. Considering how many seasons they've been through, this is already a no-win situation. It's the zombie apocalypse, and Marge is using her Second Amendment to arm herself with a replica of the Empire State Building. What is this, a rocket, a water gun, a building? You pick up dirt and puddles of water that upgrade your gun. Is this a water gun? Why does it need dirt? It shoots well enough and plays like a very stiff shoot 'em up. But with the Game Boy's tiny screen, the characters take up too much space. It helps when this ain't a one-hit kill stage. Should you dilly-dally, you'll notice every house on the street is the Simpsons House, which is arguably much scarier than the zombies. Most of the undead are generic characters that vaguely resemble Mo, while the only recognizable zombies are the mini-bosses. I've killed Apu, a symbolic victory over racism. The final boss in this stage is against Krusty the Clown, except he's the one enemy who isn't a zombie. I know some of you are thinking, he's a clown, he's wearing makeup, you can't see his green skin. No, in the show they confirm multiple times Krusty's skin really is pasty white.
You seem okay.
Yeah? Well, I got news for you. This ain't makeup!
So, confirmed, that ain't no zombie. Krusty's just an asshole. He's no better than a Dead Rising boss. What did Marge ever do to you, Krusty? Even if the designers thought that was makeup, why are his yellow arms still yellow? Well, I noticed from the back of the box, there's an early screenshot of the level with Apu in his normal skin. He's green in the game. This implies Marge was originally going on a casual killing spree against humans. Or they hadn't finalized the zombies' designs yet. You decide, gamers. Level 4, entitled Vlad All Over. Mr. Burns has been bleeding Springfield dry for years, but now it's not just money he's thirsty for, it's pussy. So Burns is a vampire and Homer is the vampire hunter D in this scenario. You gotta explore this big ass castle and destroy Burns' coffin before sunset. But first, you must find it. 7 minutes is all you're given. You're armed with a crossbow shooting garlic. Well, if it's daytime and the vampires aren't out, why use garlic in this one level where garlic is a weapon? What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. War. Well, the garlic only hurts smaller enemies like bats and mice, so focus on finding your way to the coffin room. It gets confusing when you got doors to enter leading to alternate pathways. Pathways that mostly look the same and sometimes are a dead end, like it's so easy to get lost. I don't remember how I beat this game. On the topic of mazes, I was playing through a bunch of random Genesis games like Lion King or Quackshot, and so often did they use multiple doorways to act as a maze. Like, that is some of the worst aspects of 2D retro games. Super Mario World had a maze level, yeah, and a haunted house, except there weren't that many pathways and each room was recognizable. That's the way you should do it. Everything in Treehouse of Horror looked the same, and let me remind you, there's a timer counting down until nightfall where Vampire Burns comes out. Once it hits 0, Burns doesn't even come after you. Homer just drops dead. Hey, you stand up and face your boss like the rest of us. This level just goes on and on. I am done with this stage. So I looked up someone's playthrough. Once you find Burns, you open these windows letting in the sunlight. I think it's sunlight or a waterfall of mayonnaise. Question, why is Burns out of his coffin before nightfall? Why are there windows in the coffin room? Just skip and don't think about it. The game has no save states. Instead, passcodes. With all the variety to offer, maybe the next level will be good. It's another Homer level as Mr. Burns places Homer's head on a robot body that vaguely resembles another man-created creation. Your goal is to find 5 pieces of Homer's body scattered across the power plant. You must find the pieces in a big open level that all looks the same. No.
The Simpsons is brought to you by Shaq Fu from Electronic Arts. Kung Fu Shaq Style for Sega Genesis and Super NES. Don't run away. The Simpsons Scare-a-thon continues with a brand new episode next.
Everyone Everyone Go Home, it's Elisa's stage, and it's based on the episode where the teachers wanted to eat the students. That's the one I feel was the most disturbing as a kid. It was featured in Treehouse of Horror 5, the one that ended with the gas that turned people's skin inside out.
Stupid cheap weather stripping.
Much like the episode, the teachers have captured the kids in cages and are preparing them as meals. What you have to do is look around this maze of an environment and find several keys, and then find several cages to unlock with those keys. The good thing is, this level is mostly a flat plane, so it's easier to figure your way around. It's like the game put these stages in random order regardless of difficulty. They spruce up the gameplay by adding a stealth mechanic. If you see the teacher walking towards you in the hallway, just hug the wall and they can't see you. I take back what I said about the violent stages in the Incredibles game. This here is the dumbest stealth mechanic I have ever seen. Even when you do get caught, it's not an instant death. The teacher just hardcore dances around you while your health bar depletes, much like real life. This is like Metal Gear Solid, but shitty. This is like Metal Gear Survive, but better. Each key you find corresponds to one specific cage, so if you found one key and found one cage, that key might not even work for that cage. It's realistic, but I already have enough to find with this time limit. I will say, the rooms are a lot more visually distinct from one another, but then there's this one jump that no matter how well I time it, no matter how many times I rewind on this emulator, for a game I own a physical copy of, I can never jump over without taking damage.
All right, backwards boy, back your butt down to detention.
When you consider half this game is just fetch quests, you wonder why anyone would bother playing this. At least with the other Simpsons minigames on Super Nintendo, they had more variety. They weren't good, but it was still variety. I am tired of finding circuit breakers, body parts, or cages. Oh man, what happened to Bart's head? He's got a flat top like the one black kid in every racially diverse 90s cartoon. Granted, it's still not the worst level, so let's get on to the final stage. So I'm on the level select for the 7th and final level, yet there seems to be a flying saucer looming above. Could there be one more stage after this? Let's find out. Ah, frickin' spawn killers! For the supposed finale, Homer is now a giant ape, and not just metaphorically. You gotta make it to the tallest building at the end of the level, but there's tanks and planes firing at you, and there's these bombs that are just bopping up and down. It's very much like Rampage, except much slower, and only some of the buildings can be destroyed, and there's no co-op, and there's no fun, and there's no Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Well, would you look at that, it's the main protagonist in every pixel-based indie game. Upon reaching the final stretch, you'll have to climb up a skyscraper only to meet a building's one enemy, an airplane that fires missiles at you. Okay, once its health bar depletes, the plane will get desperate enough to kamikaze the building. Oh no, here it comes! This game was released March 2001. Yeah. Once you defeat the plane, King Homer climbs through heaven itself and triumphs over the Tower of Babel. Our Goliath picks up Marge and makes her into a yo-yo. I like to dedicate this video in memory of Gwen Stacy's spine. It's at this point where the tree tells everyone to get the fuck out, you freeloaders. Every character is ejected and one by one are abducted by the alien saucer. Here it is. Maybe it's a final boss? Are you ready? 'Cause I'm ready for this, Freddy. Here it comes! Okay, I guess there was no final boss. They did not even play the end credits. It's just back to the title screen. My mom spent $25 on this game back then.
Sunday, Fox presents
the wildest Halloween night of all time.
Guess who, fat boy?
Catch 2 full hours of The Simpsons' most twisted tales.
I've got a story so scary you'll wet your pants.
Too late on one hair-raising night.
We did something very bad.
Did you wreck the car?
No.
Did you raise the dead?
Yes.
But the car's okay.
It's a special 2-hour presentation.
Cool.
Tomorrow, beginning at 8 on Fox 5.
Live from Springfield to find out who laid a finger on Bart's Butterfinger.